The playoffs are here, and you can predict the action all the way to the finals with FanDuel Predicts. Predict the spread, the total points, and even the game-winning moments that make the playoffs. Sign up and get a $25 bonus with FanDuel Predicts.
Offered by FanDuel Prediction Markets, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant. 18-plus bonus is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Trading derivatives involves significant risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Manage your activity with their consumer protection tools. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/predicts/bonus-offer-terms.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me. Taxi.
Okay, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Rich Lowry is the editor of the National Review. Dear friend and an amazing weekly guest on the program. He's here early on this Wednesday morning. Richard, good Wednesday. How are you, pal?
Good, Sydney. How are you?
I'm good. I like what I saw in Texas last night. It is, I know we keep talking about this every week, whether it's Indiana, those 5 legislators, whether it's Cassidy in Louisiana. Last week it was Massey in Kentucky. And last night it was Cornyn, who's not a bad guy. He's nothing like Massey or Rand Paul or any of those idiots. He's not. But for whatever reason, President Trump attached his horse to Ken Paxton. Huge race, $130 million they spent on that race. Paxton spending by far the least compared to Tallarico and, of course, Cornyn. But it didn't matter because these days in these GOP primaries, if you get Trump to back you, you win. That's the bottom line, right, Rich?
Yep, no doubt about it. It was a little bit like a Knicks game. You thought it might be close at the beginning, and then it ended up a blowout.
Yeah.
I think
That's right.
Trump endorsed him in part because he thought he was going to win, but in part to kind of screw the Senate Republican leadership that he's not very happy with at the moment. I think it's a risky choice. I think he'll win Paxton, but the rumors you hear about
Well, you think he's going to beat? You think? And again, I still don't know why he's soured on Cornyn. I know he's upset with the Senate and the Congress, but Cornyn votes with President Trump over 99% of the time. But regardless of that, you think Paxton's going to beat Tallarico?
I do. I think it'll be close, though. I think Tallarico has so many vulnerabilities. It's going to be really hard for him. But Paxton, I think there's probably more scandal out there that Democrats will pay for, manage to dredge up. So it's going to be ugly, but ugly down there. I think he'll pull it out, but it's going to be hugely expensive, probably the most expensive race in the country.
It's been like 30 years since a Democrat has won there. You know, the other race that was almost identical in terms of numbers, Paxton won like 64-36, and this anti-Semite, boy, what an idiot this lady was, this Maureen Galindo, who said that Jewish Zionists should be kept in detention camps, like concentration camps. She actually said that this moron. 2026, Maureen Galindo, and she got her doors blown off, thank God.
Yeah, it's always a therapist who are like the worst people. And then she was a sex therapist.
A sex therapist, exactly.
They're always crazy. And she was a total nut job. So Republicans wanted her to win because they thought they'd be able to beat her. This is one of those districts down there that the margin for Republicans is pretty thin, so they're beginning to be a little nervous about them. So hopefully they'll win that one, the general, anyway. But they didn't get the most idiotic, vulnerable candidate.
No, they didn't. You know, I'll be remiss if I didn't mention this. At one point yesterday, and I know why, Joe Beningo was coming on the end of the show yesterday, WFAN legend and my old partner, talk about the Knicks. And Noam Laden has been very public on this show about how much he loves Beningo. He's one of his favorite guests. Mm-hmm. So I said to him yesterday, I said, Beningo's your favorite guest? Is that it? He said, well, I have 3. And no one knew this. Really, Noam, who are your 3 favorite guests on Sid and Friends in the Morning? He mentioned Beningo, WFAN. He mentioned Craig Carton, also WFAN. So clearly he listens to Sports Talk Radio when he leaves this show. And the third guy he mentioned, you.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm honored to be up there with those WFAN legends. I listen when I'm not listening to you sit on the radio. It's WFAN.
Is that true?
And if I ever cheat on you, it's the Fan.
What? You're listening to Boomer? He hates you.
Occasionally. You'll be in a commercial break or I want to know what they're talking about, but it's usually you, Sid, in the morning.
Okay. Why, now that I've got him on the mic here, why did you pick Rich Lowry in the top 3?
I told you this yesterday. I think, first of all, he's really intelligent, but he also, what I like about him...
Take it easy. Don't get nuts. He's not exactly Einstein. Calm down.
He's very close to Einstein. Yeah. And he's sensible. That's what I like about him.
He's all those things.
Yes, he's very sensible.
I agree. I love this guy. He's been on this show for a long time. We've been friends for a long time. I do have a question from a dying patient at a hospital not far away. Pete Morgan, he's not dying, thank God. But he did say, I have one question for Rich Lowry, Mr. Peerless Spoilers. Does Rich Lowry like Caballero at third base, Mr. WFAN listener? Do you like Caballero at third base and Volpe at short, or maybe Rosario versus lefties?
Yeah, Rosario, that guy, he had 4 hits last night.
I know.
He hadn't played in 5 days. I love his intensity. He's always the first guy out of the dugout to congratulate anyone when anything happens. We noticed this about him last year. We didn't even know who he was. He had barely played.
What do you mean? He played for the Mets. He played for the Mets for years. He was good.
Oh, I didn't realize he was a former Met.
Yes.
I love that guy. I love Cabby, too, the intensity and the speed he brings. So if Volpe can hold his own, it's a very small sample size, but if he plays the way he has the last 10 days, yeah, I think that'd be great. I love McMahon as a guy, and I love the defense. It's just the offense is pretty brutal.
It's gone. He can't hit. This is the editor of the National Review, Rich Lowry, who is on this show and does a lot of political podcasts, but in his dreams wants to be hosting the afternoon show with WFAN, sitting right there with Craig Carter.
By the way, one thing I hear on when I hear you on the Fan, it's because you're doing the Peerless Boiler read.
Yes, they still do those, thanks to Pete Morgan, every Giant game. And I have to tell you, spending like 20 years down in Florida, almost every week I would get a text, "Oh, my God, you're back at the Fan." I'm like, no, I taped that 25 years ago. But I was on the Fan relatively recently when I made the switch from the Mets to the Yankees on the way to Yankee Stadium. Craig had me on, Craig and Chris Mack. Yes, I was on recently.
What was his take on it?
Oh, he started many years ago, Craig. He's famous for this. He started the church Met bands that turned to Yankees. So he he did this during the Yankee Philadelphia Philly World Series.
To your savior on this.
Yeah. I'm still a Yankee guy. I did go to the Met-Yankee game. I did spend time in the box with Steve Cohen. He's a lovely guy, the Mets owner. Lovely guy.
Did he work you or just a soft sell?
Nah, he was nice. He didn't really work me, and neither does Randy Levine, but I'm a Levine guy and a Yankee guy, and that's not going to change. I don't root against the Mets necessarily. I don't have to. They lose every night anyway. I mean, they're a joke. They've lost 5 straight.
They kind of creep up towards 500. You get like just 5 games under, then you have a month or two to get to 500, and then you're in the wild card chase, but they're still 10 under.
They lost 5 straight. They got swept by the Marlins, and they're in jeopardy of getting swept by Cincinnati later on today as well. So they're still a very bad baseball team. I want to get to Trump. He went to his medical visit yesterday at Walter Reed. Now, I just shook his hand on Friday. He was kind enough to call me to the stage after the big Mike Lawler event in Rockland County. So sweet. Shook his hand, whispered little nothings in his ear. He did the same to me. And I've still yet to share what we told each other, but that's fine. But he looked great to me. He looked fine. Yet the media's talking about, I guess, he's got his hands are discolored. He's got swollen legs. I don't know. He says it went great at Walter Reed yesterday. Do you think there should be any concern about this guy's health?
No, I don't think he's ever going to die.
Thank God.
I think he's strong as an ox. Now, I haven't been around him as much as you have, but the last time I shook his hand, I was like, oh, my God, this guy is as strong as an ox.
Yeah.
So and he has an indomitable will. So he's going to live to be 100, truth socialing the whole time.
I hope so. God, I hope so. Although, again, almost every day, one of his big supporters comes to me, and they say, Sid, I listen to you every day, and you're right. You've been saying he's stuck in Iran. I mean, what are we doing? The Strait is still not really open, and they're going to have a hard time getting to that enriched uranium unless they put boots on the ground. That'll result in American deaths. Then you get the whole regime thing and who's in charge. And it just seems to me that part of the reason why President Trump seems to be very patient is because we're stuck. Now, I've said that on this show for about a month. Guests have said it. Trump supporters get angry every now and then, but it's looking more and more like I'm right every day, no?
Yeah, we actually used that phrase in our editorial on yesterday at National Review. We're stuck. Yeah.
Did you credit me? You son of a bitch.
Says.
Yeah, because, everybody else uses the word stalemate. That word stalemate is everywhere. I was the first to say on this show over a month ago, we're stuck.
Yeah, so he clearly doesn't want to bomb them again. One, because the politics aren't great. Right? It wasn't a popular war to begin with. It's not popular now. We're running out of precision munitions, and then you have the Gulf Arab states that are worried we can't protect them. Now, I don't think the Iranians want to get bombed again, so I think that's kind of the predicate for a deal. But I don't know. You know, every time he says we're real close to one, it doesn't happen. So maybe it will. I think if it does, we'll end up just trading the blockade for the Strait, and then the nuclear thing will be a jump ball still.
Right.
So I don't think it's a great situation.